Hey, thanks for being a part of our welcome team. Our welcome team is key to making a great first impression on new guests and families that are coming to church. Every family has a story each week, and it goes up and down in their families just like it does in yours. Sometimes folks come and they are super stressed about work, about health. The last thing they're doing is thinking about church or check in processes. Some of those families are searching for answers. Maybe they've come desperate for some kind of hope, and they just came to church hoping that somebody there would be able to fix what's going on in their lives. You've got some folks that have come for years and years and years, and they walk in and they're wondering, does anybody really know me? Does anybody notice me? Regardless of any of those, we want you to be the front line, the people that are making the best impression on them, that are welcoming them, seeing them, noticing them, calling them by name, and letting them know you are welcome here. You are loved. God notices you. God sees you. In a very real sense, our welcome team is the hands and feet of Jesus because you are letting people know that they are seen and loved by God. That is a big deal. So thank you for being a part of our welcome team. The most important thing that you do on a welcome team has very little to do with a tablet or a check in or working a computer or data entry. It has a lot to do with your face, your eyes, what you say. Those customer service aspects are super important, the most important thing you can do, because your attitude and your demeanor is going to create an atmosphere where a parent and a child will feel like this is a trustworthy place and they're going to have a good time. Imagine that you have not come to church in a long time. Maybe it's been a decade, 2 decades. Maybe you've never come to church at all. You've made some determination at some point in your past that church is full of hypocrites or they don't know what they're telling, but you're at a low spot in your life now. You don't know where else to turn, and so you come to church thinking maybe they can help me. You walk into a church. What do you want that person to experience? You want them to feel welcome, noticed, loved. And so if you look them in the eye, if you smile when you see them, if your body is facing out instead of turning your back and talking to each other the whole time, you're looking for people that are around that might be new, maybe even walking a couple feet away from your station, right? To engage with people, to smile. Again, not just talking with, the people that you've known for 20 years, but looking for that new family, looking for those people that feel maybe they're looking down, maybe they feel insecure. You're looking for them and welcoming them. That is the most important part of a welcome team, not the tablet, not the printing. We will talk about the printing and procedures and policies because those are all very important. However, the most important thing you can do, smile, look at people, and welcome them. That's why we're calling us the welcome team, because it's really not just about check-in. It's about welcoming people, creating that environment where they feel like they can trust us with their kids, right? And that they will be known. That's number one. One of the ways that you will help people feel like they can trust us is by establishing our security policies. With new parents and with parents that have been here for a long time, you want to show and explain why we do what we do with our security. So, for instance, one of our big concerns with security is making sure that a child is not taken by somebody who is not their family member, their guardian, right? We want to make sure that a child is released to the person that dropped them off or somebody in their family, right? Now, there are a couple guidelines that we have in place to protect the church from a lawsuit, to protect children from being placed in a dangerous situation. And so these policies are really for safety, safety of our church, safety of the kids. And we need to be able to explain our policies in those ways. So not, well, this is just the rule that Pastor Jonathan said, or, well, this is just some new rule they came up with. Now, the reason for this policy is to make sure that every child is safe when they come to Lakeview Kids. So, for instance, one of the things that we will say is that if you are picking up a child, you have to be a guardian for that child. Mom, dad, stepmom, stepdad, whatever, any kind of adult that is on that policy or on that profile for Planning Center. And you can see the whole household family there. You can see mom and grandpa. If they've put Aunt so-and-so on there, you can see who's authorized to pick up their child. It's all right there. Generally, it's mom, dad, stepmom, stepdad, something like that. And Planning Center makes it easy by printing off a sticker, so any adult who has that sticker can pick them up. You don't have to worry about them like manufacturing that sticker. They can't reprint that sticker. Not possible, okay? The only way they could have got that sticker that matches the child's tag is if they were the adult that checked them in. And if they checked them in, they can check them out, right? Now, it does need to be an adult. Why does it have to be an adult? If we release a minor to a minor and then something happens to that child, we are responsible. We are legally liable for what we did. If I release a child to a 14-year-old and then that 14-year-old goes outside the church with their sister or brother and they get kidnapped or hit by a car or anything like that, we just don't know what happened to them, well, we're responsible, okay? So for that reason, to protect your child, we only release children to grown-ups. This is the exact same thing that schools do, that Chuck E. Cheese does. I mean, any institution that takes care of kids realizes you can't just let kids walk off, all right? You have to make sure that they are with a responsible guardian, all right? Now, if there are concerns about, well, is this person authorized to pick up? Maybe it's boyfriend of mom, or maybe it's, the step parent and you're not sure about the custody situation. All of those details and concerns will be listed in Planning Center, and we can show you how to do that in our in-person training. But this is a great thing about Planning Center. You can see the whole household. If their household is a non-typical family, let's say that it has two lesbians that are living together, but they are legally married, and one picks them up, once the other picks them up, hey, you know what? If they're both on that same household, we can release the child to that parent. Again, we're not saying that that relationship is okay. We're not saying anything of that, but we're recognizing that is a family, and you have a legal guardianship over this child. Okay. Same thing that can work with any adult that's added as a trusted pickup, right? So I might add a friend of our family, and they would be allowed then to pick up that child. So if we had to look up in the household and see that there's somebody not related to them, we don't have to go into digging why they're not related, right? They just have to be listed in the household as an authorized pickup person, and then they're good. Again, most of the times it won't matter and you won't know because they're just going to be handing you a sticker and it's going to match up the number on the other sticker, boom, and that's fine, right? The only times that these would really come up is if somebody has lost their sticker, right? If somebody's lost their sticker, it's not possible to regenerate that alphanumeric code. And so we will actually need to see a photo ID and match it up with somebody who's listed on the household, either an adult in the household or somebody who's listed for an authorized pickup. So if you've got mom and dad loses the sticker, comes back, shows his photo ID. Yep, my name's Jonathan Foster. There you go. I can see you're on the household. You can go ahead and pick up child A and child B. It's that easy. So policies we've talked about so far, you have to be an adult to pick up. You have to be a household adult or authorized for pickup in order to pick up the child. Some other policies that we have, again, to make sure that this experience is good and safe for kids, is we have designated times for pickup and drop-off. So currently, our drop-off time is 15 minutes prior to a service, and this allows Lakeview kids to be able to have areas cleaned and prepared for that service, as well as for volunteers to get ready for their ministry, to pray together. That drop-off time is sacred. You need to keep it right there at that 15 minutes. There will always be the pressure to extend that, or hey, well, can't I just drop my kid off? It's just this one kid. I've got to go run and do this thing. No. You, as the welcome team, need to help enforce that, not personally take it upon yourself to babysit that one child, because it won't just be that one child, right? There will be more kids coming. So we really need to make sure that you just say, hey, I totally understand, but we're not ready to receive children yet. If you could just wait here, that would be great, and we'll be ready for you in just a few moments. So again, your attitude and how you explain that will help a lot. Now, that may change at some point. We might do drop-offs 20 minutes, 30 minutes in advance. Whatever that time period is, there's going to be a line, and we need to make sure that we're enforcing that. All right? That's, again, for the kids' safety. You can't drop off the kids if there's nobody there. So that's a third element of our security policy. The fourth is when you check in people, there's a lot of information that we need to collect from new families. So their name, their contact information, those are necessary so that we can get a hold of them if there's an emergency, but also for our follow-up processes. We might make an out call to a new family or write them an email, just say, hey, welcome to Lakeview Kids. Those are important things that we need, and that's why when they come for the first time, they have to give a lot of information. When you register your child for a new school, there is a ton of paperwork that you have to do. When you go to Six Flags Great America or you go to any kind of institution, you have to put out a lot of information, right? So asking kids to be registered before they come in really isn't that big of a deal. We don't ask for that much stuff. We ask for the minimum in terms of contact information, who are the adults in the policy, things like birthdays. We need to know those for kids, so we put them in the right room. Grades, we need to know that so we can put them with the right group. All right, allergy information. Again, we're just asking so that we don't feed your kid gluten and then they have an anaphylactic reaction. So the information that's on the contact information page is important to receive. Even though parents may be rushed, please encourage them to take the time to fill it out completely. And then there's also a legal release. The legal release is important for us as an organization. Again, this protects us and it protects the child. There's a couple elements of those that we do need permission from parents. So one is a liability release, a liability waiver, just saying, hey, you're giving us permission to take care of your kid, all right, for this, however long you're going. One is a photo and video release. We use pictures and videography in social media and in some of our internal promotion. We're going to take pictures and we need to know that is okay by the parents. And the parents need to be okay with it too, because if they're not, Lakeview Kids really isn't the place for them because we will be taking pictures. The exception to that is for foster children who, by state law, are protected from having their image and their representation put online, because there might be a situation where a parent might be trying to find their biological child, and we don't want to know or to disclose where those are. But other than foster parents and foster kids, we're not going to make exceptions for people. They need to sign the photo and video release because we're going to be putting their stuff on social media. The reason we do that on social media is because there are tons of kids who need to know about Jesus that are not coming every week, and we need to have a viable church programming alternative for them through YouTube, through Facebook. And so to reach kids for the mission that the church is called to, we need to have a presence on social media, and that means we're going to have video and photos up there. So we need parents' permission. If they're going to participate in Lakeview Kids, that's what we're going to do. Now, with that said, if somebody gets really upset, I always try to take it down a couple notches and be like, look, we don't do this very often. The chance of your kid's picture being online is very minimal. But even if it was online, we never put up kids' names with their images. So even if a predator or somebody was to see an image of a child, unless they've got their own personal facial recognition scanning system, they're not going to be able to tell who that is or when they come or anything like that. They're just going to see a picture of a child. So that said, this is very standard for a lot of churches. Some churches have even gone to the point of saying, we're just going to put etching on the wall or on the window when you walk through the building, and just some sign that says, hey, by entering, you're giving us permission to take your picture because we're going to take your picture. Videography and photography are so central to having a viable social media ministry, an online ministry. And so we need to make sure that parents are signing that. The third part of the legal release is the medical waiver. So in other words, if a child falls down and requires emergency care, I need that parent's permission to be able to take that kid to the hospital or to administer first aid care as best as we see fit. I don't have to waste 3 minutes trying to find that parent in the congregation somewhere. So those are the three aspects that parents do have to sign off on before their child can enter Lakeview Kids. Again, for almost like 99.9% of the families, if you can explain the reasons why, most parents go, oh, okay, I get it. And again, at a lot of other institutions, you don't sign those waivers, you don't get in, right? This is not abnormal for our legitimate society. Like everybody sues everybody. So we need to sign this stuff so that we are protected as a church and so that the child can be taken care of in the event of emergency. So those are policies that are important for you to be able to explain in the event that you get questions or in the event that you have a parent who's upset about something or doesn't understand why they have to sign. I don't want anybody taking pictures on my kid. Say, oh, don't worry about it. this is what this is for. There every couple weeks or so, there's videographers and photographers, and occasionally you might see a picture of your child on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel. So those are some policies that we have for our first for our welcome team. I think that is it for right now. We will be training you separately on how to administer the Planning Center check-ins aspect of this role, which is slightly technical, but not really that hard. Planning Center is super easy, and Planning Center has a great database of how-to videos. If you want to learn more about Planning Center, just check out planningcenteronline.com. It's a great resource, and they can make it look graphically a lot better than I could ever do it. So we'll have those separately posted. Thanks for watching this. We want to honor your time by keeping this short. But again, thank you for joining the Welcome Team and for making it possible for our guests and our families to be known and to be loved by God.